Rise and shine, Hoosiers. Welcome back to the Bloomington Breakfast Club. I'm Caroline Parks.
And I'm Morgen, Ludwig. We are so excited to be your new host for Season 9 and to pick up where Juliana and Michael left us off.
Yes, we could not be more excited to continue highlighting the unique places and people of Bloomington. We have a great show planned for you this morning featuring new segments, as well as in-studio guest, Mr. Hoosier A1 Vintage himself.
So grab your cup of coffee, Hoosiers, and let's get right into it. It's going to be a great morning.
And now it's time for the unnecessary updates of the day, where we share some of the latest pop culture headlines. We are so excited to have Grace Tempe joining us for the updates today. Grace, how are you?
I'm so good. It's early, but I'm here. I'm excited.
I'm so glad you're here with us.
Thank you.
Morgan, what do you have to start us off?
Well, so the National Oceanic Administration caught a picture of the real-life SpongeBob and Patrick, and we actually have the picture here with us today. So, yeah, look at that. There's the yellow sponge.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It really is them. Wow, that is so funny that it's literally what a weird coincidence that is.
Yeah, and the marine biologist who captured the image said that it's very rare to see this species of yellow sponge at the depth that it is. So there's a good chance that this type of picture will never be able to be caught again.
Wow.
So
Wow.
once in a
Fate
lifetime
stepped in.
opportunity.
It really did. That just made my day, I think. That's just so special.
Big news at the Emmys. Ted Lasso and The Crown swept, and even the comedy show Hacks won some big awards too. I, as a big Ted Lasso fan, was so excited. And I haven't seen The Crown, but I love Princess Diana, so I was happy for that whole cast and crew as well. I haven't seen Hacks. I've seen like 2 episodes. It's pretty funny. I'll give him a chance.
Yeah,
to win.
Good for them. That's great. I started watching The Crown. I need to keep going on that, but from what I've seen, it looks great. So
Yeah,
I'm
won a
not
bunch of Emmys. I'm sure it's
not
good.
surprised.
Clearly
Yeah.
I'm slacking because I haven't seen any of those shows. I haven't even heard of Hacks.
I hadn't
is
either
that show?
before
Yeah,
the
I
Emmys.
haven't
No, me
either.
neither. But
What's it about?
it's like a comedy writer like gets canceled on Twitter, so she has to go work for some like old stand-up comedy woman who like does like appearances just like as a bit, kind of, not a bit, but then they like fight a lot. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like girls fighting, which I love.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
We love the drama.
Yeah.
Well, next, a woman in Utah was attacked at a child's birthday party by an alligator, and after almost dying, she says that she loves him and that he shouldn't face any consequences, and she says that he is now part of her family. What do you guys think about this? I was shocked when I heard this story. I thought it was so funny.
Oh, wow. Bonds that people can have with animals are so beautiful. An
Truly.
alligator, interesting choice, but love wins. I don't judge.
Yeah,
Right.
Are they like keeping it as a pet now?
I don't
Like an
know.
attacker, they're like-
No, see,
Welcome
I
to
don't
the
know if I would
family.
have an alligator in my
Sure.
house.
Right. I know like the kids were really distraught, and in the article it was like the kids were like crying, they were scared. Obviously she got attacked by this animal, but forgiveness is key. Forgive
Yeah.
and forget. Love is
It's an important lesson.
right. It always wins, like you said.
Yeah. Go alligators. And to emphasize the unnecessary part of unnecessary updates, TikTok star Addison Rae has recently signed a multi-movie contract with Netflix weeks after her, I don't want to say backlash, but pretty big backlash from her acting debut in He's All That. I saw He's All That. And I think the only reason it worked with Addison Rae is because she was like playing herself, basically. She was just playing a social media influencer. So I don't know if Addison Rae could succeed in an acting role that isn't just what she does. Mm-hmm. I'd be excited to see, but I can't say I'm optimistic about it.
Yeah.
You know?
From the Netflix perspective and like a economical sense. I'm sure she brought in a lot of viewers for them, so I'm sure they're not complaining. But you know, I started watching it and it was kind of painful.
Yeah, like it is unwatchable.
Yeah, but
I watched about 5 seconds of the little clip that plays when you just hover over the thing,
Yeah.
and I decided that I was never going to watch that movie in my entire life.
it was just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But good for Addison, I guess.
Yeah,
Who
good for
wouldn't want a
her.
Netflix movie deal? So I guess we can't blame her.
I'd
True.
kill for a Netflix movie deal.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Well, thank you, Grace, for stealing the title of most unnecessary update. We look forward to having you back on the show for our next sessions of Unnecessary Updates.
Thank you.
But now we're going to send it over to our TBBC correspondent, Clara Isaac, for a Hoosier Alumni Update.
Thanks, Morgan. Good morning, everyone. My name is Clara Isaac, and this is Alumni Watch. Today, our spotlight is on 2019 Indiana University graduate Braxton Kennedy Heiser. After graduating with a degree in elementary education and a concentration in language arts, Braxton went on to become a third-grade teacher for Washington Township Schools in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yet, her passion to promote student learning is only one part of what she is currently involved in. Braxton's love for competing in pageants, passion for serving others, as well as her amazing vocal skills are just a couple of the factors that led her to be crowned Miss West Central, which is a local pageant that qualified her to compete in the Miss Indiana pageant. And on June 19th, Braxton was crowned Miss Indiana through the Miss America organization. As her journey to the Miss America stage continues, she also dedicates time to her social impact initiative called Love Thy Neighbor. She created it a few years ago in downtown Indianapolis when she was short on cash for her Starbucks order. She told WTHR News that a homeless man gave her his last bit of cash so that she could pay. The two had a conversation about what he needed, and as a result, she created Love Thy Neighbor, which provides basic necessities such as toiletries and clothing to the local homeless population in Indianapolis. Braxton Heiser will be competing for the title of Miss America this December at the Mohegan Sun in Newcastle, Connecticut. Braxton, we're all rooting for you. Caroline, Morgan, back to you.
Thanks, Clara. Joining us in the studio this morning, we have Trey, also known as Mr. Hoosier A1 Vintage. He is the owner of Hoosier A1 Vintage here in Bloomington, and he is here to tell us all about his vintage biz in B-Town.
We had the opportunity to go inside his showroom for a tour, so let's take a look. We're here with Mr. A1 himself, and he's going to show us around Hoosier A1 Vintage. So if you just want to take it away.
For sure. Here's the showroom. So it's a little bit tight, but back here we have what everybody loves: IU crew necks, hoodies, those type of things. The knit crew necks have been very, very, very popular lately. They've been hot on the streets. That's what we say in Hoosier A1. We got a curated racks back here. Racing jackets have also been very, very desirable. Lots of sorority girls need these in their lives badly, badly. Back here we have non-IU crew necks. So during the fall time, these always, start moving fast. The Celtics, and then, greatest quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning. And then we have IU t-shirts here, little IU basketball. It's actually, obviously it's a Bob Knight, but there's a story behind this. One of his former players actually produced these in the mid-'80s, and it was said that Bob Knight had a talking to the man that made these t-shirts. He did not like the belly. Bob Knight did not like the belly at all. He was not a fan. 87. But yeah, a lot of people have questions about whether or not the clothing is from the era. These are from, this t-shirt was made in 1987. Some kid bought this after we won the championship, like probably on the street or something like this. It's like, you see this is not trademarked. This was probably sold. All right, this is like a really special item, one of my prized possessions. I call it the IU Kuji. But as you can see, this is a licensed product from the university, made by the university, but it doesn't have an actual production tag. So it's a sample that was never released to the public that somehow I got my hands on. But this is one of my prized possessions. I've never worn it. I had an offer for $200 and I turned it down. So this is like, you're not gonna see this anywhere else. Sampled by the university, mid-'90s. Just kind of crazy piece.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We had a blast. This was so cool to see. And now we'll throw it back to the studio. That was so much fun. I'm so glad we got to go take a look in person. Thank you so much for coming into the studio as well. So we just have a few questions. Tell us, how did you get your start?
So I started selling vintage clothes my freshman year of my freshman year of IU, and I just worked really hard. Told everyone about Hoosier A1 Vintage. Made sure that I put stickers everywhere, and just stayed true. Sold out of my dorm room, so I would tell people, "Hey, come by," and they'd be like, "Where are you at?" And I'd be like, "Ashton Voss, come to my dorm," and like, I just had clothes everywhere in my dorm room. And then I would go to Indianapolis on the weekends. I would take a bus to go get more stuff, and then I'd take a bus back down. So weekends I would spend in Indianapolis to source, and then I'd come back and sell. My freshman year.
I love that. That's really inspirational. Definitely a really hard work ethic for sure.
Yeah, you clearly have a lot of passion and motivation for what you do. So, how do you keep all that passion? How do you keep that drive to keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I consider myself generally a passionate person. I've always been that one kid that like really probably cared too much about stuff, just generally. Vintage clothes is a really good product. I really do believe in my heart of hearts that vintage clothes is a superior product to what is being sold to us by kind of just Walmart, Forever 21, Urban Outfitters. It's not a good product. It's expensive. It's not good quality. And then you have vintage, which is like great quality, unique, and a great price. It's like the perfect product because I don't have to be a good salesman. Obviously, I'm a good salesman, but it's the perfect product for me because it just sells itself. It's just a great thing to sell. It's cheap. It's high quality.
That's really cool. Well, like you said, you're obviously a great salesman, but what has been like the most challenging part of running your business?
Time management. Time management is where I struggle the most. It's not easy being a full-time student and getting good grades and running the business. On weekends, I'm totally booked out. I have to do like 3 or 4 hours worth of laundry a week, as well as travel to pick up product. All the product that I sell in my showroom, as you guys saw, is handpicked by myself. No one buys the product for me. No one picks it out for me. I go and pick it out personally. So that's very, very time consuming. But other than that, other than the time, it's a great job.
So what are your future career goals or plans for your business?
I actually don't plan on selling vintage clothes to IU students when I graduate. I always thought that it would be kind of corny to be a non-student and sell to students. I think the great thing about Hoosier A1 Vintage right now is that I have, an idea of what students want, and I can relate to students in a way that a lot of people who are old cannot. And I just hate thinking that I would be selling clothes to students as a 30-year-old, as a 25-year-old. Like, it's obviously a lot of fun, and I enjoy it thoroughly, but I need an actual career to like support my family, and selling to kids is not something that I want to do as like a grown man.
Well, so while you're still here on campus, do you have any like promotional pop-up shops that you want to plug? Tell us about, get yourself out there.
I have something big I want to plug. I don't know if this will come out in time, but if it does, I'm starting a clothing brand called Gonzo Hydraulica, and we're having our first debut event October 2nd. So it's going to be really big. This is going to be what I'll be spending a lot of my time doing, like promoting. It's all on vintage like materials, so none of it is new. None of this like is fast fashion. It's all like hand printed by me and my roommate, and it's going to be like, it's the next big thing. It's the next Hoosier A1 Vintage, in terms of like where I'm transferring my time into.
So will this event be at your store, or is it a different location?
It'll actually be at a friend's house. There's gonna be live music. There's a flyer. It's at Gonzo Hydraulica on Instagram. Check it out.
Sounds good. Well, I hope everyone knows that you have a limited time to come find Hoosier A1 Vintage before you graduate. So where can people kind of find you? What's your online presence right now?
Instagram. Hoosier A1 Vintage on Instagram. Read the saved stories to get information on how to come to the showroom. DM me. Excuse me if I do not DM you back in time. It's very, very busy. But yes, Hoosier A1 Vintage on Instagram. That is the place to get all the info and all the clothes.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, you guys heard it here first. Coming up after the break, Sydney Greggs joins the show to share her opinions on who wore what at the Met Gala.
And we'll give you the rundown on some exciting events happening in Bloomington this week with the B-Town Buzz. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. We're now going to send it over to our TBBC fashion correspondent, Sydney Greggs.
She will be taking us through the Met Gala's best and worst dressed. Sydney, take it away.
Thanks, Caroline and Morgan. This year's theme for the 2021 Met Gala was Americana, or better said, America's influence on fashion. We saw a lot of good designs this year and a whole lot of bad ones. So here's my 21 best dressed first. First, we have Emma Chamberlain in Louis Vuitton Original. A lot of people thought her look was not on topic, but with the hair and makeup, you could see a lot of 60s influence. Lil Nas X showed up with not one, not two, but 3 looks this year, and head to toe Versace. While I don't see the theme here, all the looks were just too good for me to care. Next, we have Pete Davidson with this mad scientist meets great aunt look. It's designed by Tom Brown, and thank God it's not just another man in a black suit. He looks so good here. Next, on brand, we have Jennifer Lopez in a Western chic look. This is designed by Ralph Lauren. She looks amazing. At first, I hated Kim Kardashian West's look, but after finding out that it's inspired by how America can recognize her body without her face, her Balenciaga look is so great. Precious Lee wore a custom design by Area. She transformed a suit jacket into an ultra-feminine look. Now, Old Hollywood was a huge inspiration this year, and I think the best were Yara and Dior, and we have a huge fan favorite, co-chair of the gala, Billie Eilish, with this show-stopping Oscar de la Renta original. Speaking of show-stopping, let's look at Ima Harrison Reed's look, a literal head-to-toe masterpiece. Last but not least, we have Frank Ocean and his Shrek robot baby. When asked why he has it, he replied, "I don't know, I just wanted it, and I'm kind of obsessed with that. His outfit is cool too, I guess." So there you have it. I'm Sydney Greggs, and this was my take on this year's best and worst Met Gala. Back over to you, Caroline and Morgan.
Thanks, Sydney. It's now time for the B-Town Buzz, where we share with you some fun events going on around Bloomington this week.
This Thursday at 8 p.m., IU Cinema will be hosting a movie screening of 101 Dalmatians at Memorial Stadium. This screening is part of their Under the Stars series that shows fan-favorite films in an outdoor setting.
The weekly Bloomington Food Truck Friday is from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Switchyard Park. Enjoy live music and locally made foods from some of Bloomington's best food trucks.
And on Saturday, October 2nd, Bug Fest 2021 will be taking place from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the IU Hilltop Garden and Nature Center. Celebrate insects by learning from experts, partaking in crafts, games, insect races, and maybe even eating an edible bug or two.
And also on Saturday, be sure to stop by the Bloomington Community Farmers Market from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. to get your locally grown plants and produce. And that's it for the first episode of Season 9. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have so many exciting plans for this season that you will not want to miss.
But that doesn't mean that we don't still have room for you on the show. We are always looking to feature more local students, businesses, and organizations, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please contact our producer Lily at lshareb@iu.edu.
Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at BTown BFast Club. For IUS TV, I'm Caroline Parks.
And I'm Morgan Ludwig. Have a great week, Hoosiers.